And welcome back, everybody. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of 3D Hangouts. My name is Noah Ruiz. I'm a designer here at Adafruit. And joining me every week is Mr. Pedro.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Pedro Ruiz, creative tech here at Adafruit. And every week we're here to share 3D printed projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
That's right. This is where we combine 3D printing, DIY electronics, and we smash them together to make inspirational projects. Hello, everybody. We're hanging out in the Discord chat room. If anyone wants to join us live, you can do so by hitting up the Discord channel. The invite link for that is discord.gg/Adafruit, or you could also use adafru.it/Discord. You get an invite there. We're hanging out in the live broadcast chat room. That's it right here in the sidebar. Got plenty of different chat rooms. And hello, everybody. It's nice to see everybody and do the show this week. Last week was the big week. Shout out to everybody. Thank you so much for everybody going out there and voting. We have some blog posts. Bam, check it out. So Phil's been posting stuff up. This is a really nice one. The Biden-Harris transition site is up, so you can check that out. Also, PT's been posting some videos and imagery of what it was like in New York City, so definitely check that out.
Sights and sounds from all over the globe, I'm sure.
There was an impressive drone show. It was mind-blowing to see. It was like, oh, this is pretty damn cool. So
I think those are the same ones that were at Disney Springs a couple years ago.
Maybe, perhaps.
Definitely want to see that again.
If you want more info on it, PT's got a blog post here.
Yeah.
Or Ben. Sorry, Ben. So that was awesome. Let's go ahead and run through kind of the morning shindig stuff.
I want to say why we weren't here last week.
Yeah,
it was your birthday. So
I had a
we were
birthday.
out celebrating right on Election Day. So we were at Disney,
FaceTime.
of course, with our masks on, socially distanced, of course. So that's what we were. We will always be able to do the show unless there is a baby being born, a birthday, a hurricane, which we have one coming in a couple hours now. So we'll try to get through this show, hopefully without any power outages. Or if we have painting going on in the house, or if we have installations going on. Otherwise, we'll always do the show.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you. We do the show every Wednesday at this time at 11 a.m.
The projects will be released every week. So
yeah,
there's always
a project. Yeah. So we have 2 projects to catch up on. So let's get to it.
Yes.
We're hanging out in the Discord chat room. Please join us. Say hello. I'm saying hello to everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Hiya,
hanging out on the Facebooks, on the YouTubes, on the LinkedIns, on the Periscopes, on the Discords.
Yeah. Cool. Let's jump into the first thing. For housekeeping, Adafruit Holiday Shipping 2020. We're going to have a list of all the days that you need to get your orders in by if you want to get them before the holidays.
Which you won't have to worry about if you put those orders in right now.
So I get to show this lovely image. Thank you, Bruce Yan, for posting this up. Every year we get reminded, we need to get our stuff in stock and get ready. It's snowing, background, Adabots got the box. Cool. So check it out. We'll have a adafruit.com/shipping. We'll get updated probably later today. The CircuitPython meetings happen every Monday at 2 p.m. This is a great time for folks to come together, folks in the community, folks that are working on CircuitPython. They come together, they chat for about an hour and a half. It's done in the Discord chat room, so you can join in live every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. It gets posted as an archive on the YouTube channel, and you can check out the playlist as well. So very, very fun time there. Newsletters. We have a newsletter that happens once a week. So go to adafruit.com/newsletter. You get details on all the new products that are added weekly, because they are added weekly. And then for daily content, adafruitdaily.com, you can subscribe to all the different categories of maker stuff. For example, 3D printing, Python on hardware, maker business, biohacking, and much, much more. So check those out. We have these awesome new this new of 3D Hangouts, the return.
I guess that error was a connection error, huh?
But yeah, maybe it was. I mean, I didn't really read the error, but here we are. So cool. We weren't too far. We were talking about this lovely poster. Thank you, Bruce Yan, for creating these posters. So if you guys want to print it out, there's a link in Twitter that you can download. And third time's a charm. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to 3D Hangouts. We're just going to jump right into the project. We were talking about the COVID poster, but that shot is kind of breaking some stuff. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I don't like that poster.
It doesn't like the poster. That's funny. In any manner, let's jump into this week's project. So go to the Learn Guide, learn.adafruit.com. You can see this is a project that we released on Friday. So check it out if you're interested in monitoring the air quality around your area. You can use this project to monitor the air in your area, like I said. It uses Adafruit IO to log the data, so you can keep track of how the temperature changes and how the air quality index changes over time. So you can check it out. Brent, huge shout out to Brent. He created this project a couple weeks or maybe a month ago. And this one just takes it and adds a little bit fun to it by 3D printing a case and having two separate types of sensors that you could use. So these air quality sensors, really hot right now, hard to keep them in stock, but definitely sign up via email so you can get notified via email when they're back in stock. So we got a nice image here that shows you the two setups that you can use. Both of these air quality sensors are from Plantower. The first one is the PMS5003, and we pair that one with the BME280. You do need to solder the breakout board. It doesn't have a stemma connector on it, and it has like this little adapter board and a little extension cable, so that works fine. The second model is the PMSA003i, and that is paired with the BME680, which does have stemma ports on it. This is an Adafruit breakout, so both of those breakout boards have the stemma ports on it, so they link and daisy chain together via a little stemma cable. Very, very easy to set those up, not much soldering required, and you still have those pinouts on the side there, so it's really cool. So those are the two setups that you could use. I think they have the exact same type of air quality sensing, but don't quote me on that. So this Learn Guide walks you through the assembly, and you can follow Brent's guide on setting up Adafruit IO. Although, I also had linked that in here too. So you can kind of bounce between both. You don't have to bounce between both Learn Guides because all of the code and setup is also documented in this Learn Guide. Shout out to Brent for doing that. So there you go. All right, we're gonna walk through the circuit diagram real quick. So there's two different setups. We show them both here. You can see for both setups, we're using the Doubler FeatherWing. That way we can easily plug in an AirLift and a Feather M4 side by side, and they fit nicely in the enclosure. Plenty of pinouts and things for extra sensors if you want to add more sensors or components or lights or whatever. So that's nice and broken out like that. For wiring, you just need to wire up. If you want to go with the BME280, this one shows you how to wire that up. And we have some nice labels here as well for wiring up the either the BME280 or the 680. So you can just walk through that, follow the images, and wire it up that way. Since this project is being USB powered, you kind of have to fashion your own USB connector, or USB cable rather. So I kludged together a couple of my old 30-pin iPhone cables, so I cut those up and soldered them up. They make really good cables.
We'll never need a 30-pin.
I know, right? Yeah, just cut the connector off and you can make it whatever you want. So that's cool. Little tip there if you want cables. A nice long extension cable. Yeah. Oh, I'm in wiring. All right, then setting up your Adafruit IO account. This walks you through that. It's very simple. You can create new feeds and a dashboard, and this just walks you through creating all the different things. So we got a couple different categories, the AQI, which is the air quality index, the category, so that'll tell you if it's good, bad, or hazardous, and more. The humidity, it's like just a value, and the temperature, which is you can do it in Fahrenheit or Celsius. So that's cool. And that just walks you through all the lovely screenshots and whatnot. Very cool. And we're using some gauges and stuff to give us a visual indicator for our humidity and pressure. And what does it look like?
Graphics are a little out of date since we just had a big rollout of I/O this morning. We'll do a nice little walkthrough video, I think probably for next week.
For sure, but for now, Brant has put together a nice walkthrough on Twitter, as you can see here. First up, groups of data feeds are more refined, or defined. So you can see here that the UI is a little bit changed here, so you can check that out. They've got some new buttons, and the dark mode, so you can turn that on and off, which is nice. And more to come, so check that out. Thanks, Brent, for posting up the sort of walkthrough here on your own Twitter. And here is my dashboard right now. Hopefully I can, there we go. I have since I have it right in front of me, I don't have it connected, so I took it off, so the data hasn't been pulling today, but you can see here our air quality is doing all right. I can't get it go higher than like, I don't know, 20 or so, which is pretty good. So we're in a decent area when it comes to air quality. But if you need to monitor air quality, you can do so. Yeah, cool.
One of the spots that we put this in was in the 3D printing room. And we were pleased to see that the air filters that we have in there,
they're working.
They're doing their job, yeah.
We should turn them off and see. No. All right, cool. So there's my dashboard. I'll be checking in on it every so often. All right, back over to the Learn Guide. Where am I? There I am. All right, cool. So you can walk through all those to set up your dashboard. The next page just walks you through setting up CircuitPython. You need a handful of libraries. This is a list of all the libraries that you need. Cool thing is both of the air quality sensors use the same library. That's the Adafruit PM25 library. So that's cool. Setting up your internet connections, just adding your home SSID, your Wi-Fi credentials into your secrets file. So that just walks you through that. And a Wi-Fi test if you want to test that out. So it's a nice thorough way to test your Wi-Fi with your ESP32. The code usage page walks you through, I guess, setting up the secrets file and finding your longitude and latitude and your elevation. So you can pop those into your code. And there's the code. You can walk through it. It's nicely commented. It's set up so you can change it out. The pinouts if you have a different setup. You can do that. And huge shout out to Brent for posting it up. Screenshot of what your library folder needs to look like. That's always useful when you're putting together a project. It's very helpful to have a visual reference. Here is if you're changing between the BME 680 and the BME 280. You can modify that here. You just comment out some stuff. So cool. And there you go. All right. Let's see. The next stuff is 3D printing. All right. So no supports required for this stuff. Yay. Got all the file names there. I have a step file and the Fusion 360 files if folks want to download the original design with all the sketches. Normally I do some snap fit stuff. This one is reliant on heat inserts. So this makes it so that the threads are metal, brass particularly, so that you can do excessive, threading. Like you can take the screw out multiple times and it's not going to wear out your 3D print because you have brass inserts. Hurrah! So we used to do quite a bit of these, and a couple of years ago we put together a rig that uses a soldering iron and a piece of 2020 extrusion and like a pulley to kind of make a nice little rig for making that easier, because I've run into some issues with heat sets, and we did it so well that we actually stock a heat set insert for soldering irons. This is going to work with like the Haku style, and we also stock brass heat inserts too. So that's really nice. Oh no, we're out of stock. We need to get more brass inserts. So yeah, you can check out our guide on heat set rig. Cool.
I posted the link to the Learn Guide so you can get all of the parts and the files you need to make your own.
Sweet. I got lucky with this one because like there's a height clearance for the rig. You can obviously make it as tall as you want, and I had about probably like 1/4 of an inch of clearance, maybe even less than that. So it like worked just fine. I had like that much clearance because it's a fairly tall case. So nice. Thankfully, I didn't have to like rework the design or anything. Like for tall items, I fear that would be an issue. Anyway, it worked out great. So good stuff there. All right, and then when it comes to the assembly, so to keep this kind of waterproof, we have these cable glands, and they're designed to waterproof, I guess, cable connections for panel-mounted stuff. So I got one of these. This is a PG7 cable, and that fits right into the hole in the side of the case. So that fits in there. I have a little NinjaFlex ring as well that I printed that kind of press fits into the hole, and then the cable gland press fits into that. And the cable gland has like some internal rubber gasket stuff that keeps it nice in that way. But because the way it's kind of made, you kind of have to cut off your main connector from the cable so you can actually route the cable through the cable gland. So that's, if you look at this photo here, you can see that I've threaded the cable, and you just see the 4 wire connections there for USB. So then once you actually thread it through the thing, then you can solder your micro USB connector or USB-C connector if you are using a USB-C board. In this case, we're using the M4, which probably will get a USB-C port at some point. So there you go. Now to mount this thing onto another thing, like the side of your house or somewhere, you can use the mounting plate. The mounting plate is designed to kind of be offset from the case to allow for the battery connector and the roof to have clearance there. So I have these tall standoffs. They're M3 standoffs. They're 20 millimeters in length. And then I can use some hex nuts to secure that to the case. So if you look inside the case, I have these little hexagonal recesses right behind the 4 mounting holes. That way it can kind of hold and cap nut it in place while you fasten the MF standoffs. So those are cool. I really like how that came out. And they can use 4 screws to attach the mounting plate to those tall standoffs. Yeah, so that's pretty much how you set up the case. Definitely want to set up the wire first before installing all the components inside of it. That's just kind of like a thing to do. Doing that last would not be great. All right, so for mounting the FeatherWing Doubler inside of the case, I have this little PCB mount, a little bit of a plate, and we're using some M25 standoffs and screws to elevate it away from the PCB mount. So those are just a couple 4 of those mounted up. It's got some openings so you can thread cables through, and you still have access to the pinouts. That's always nice to have. And yeah, I'm just installing the FeatherWings at this point. They just press fit into the headers of the doubler, FeatherWing Doubler. All right, and then so the bottom piece, the design supports those 2 different sets of sensors. So I had to make 2 different bottoms. So the first bottom is securing the air quality sensor, the PMS A003i, and the BME 680. So because of the orientation of where the fan is and where the intake is, I had to mount it in this kind of different orientation. So I have this extra little bracket that uses 2 screws to secure it in place. So I set it up that way. So you can see here how you want to orient the air sensor so that the little fan is pointing down, and there's a cutout at the bottom. You just want to line up those cutouts so that it's oriented correctly. So there's that piece. The BME 680 gets secured facing down because that's where the sensor is, and we need to expose the sensor. So there's a little hole in the center of those standoffs, and that's where it is. This is a good note, Pedro. You can flip it upside down and see the bottom here. So those are the only things that we had to expose. This is the fan and intake, and then there's the little pressure temperature sensor there at the bottom. So there's how that's set up. Cool. Then back over to the Learn Guide, you can see the inside of it. Sweet. And I just referenced the photo for like the right orientation. I think it's symmetrical, but maybe it's not. So check it out. All right, and that's how you set that up. Really easy to wire this. I have the stemma cable going on the side here, going out of the BME and into the other stemma connector on the side of the air quality sensor, and that's how that's set up. And then we have another cable here that's wired into the bottom of the doubler FeatherWing. So then for the second set of sensors, we want to secure the BME 280 first with just 2 screws because there's only 2 mounting holes in there. And you want to do it in this orientation. And you can see here there's a bit of a holder for the PMS 5003 air quality sensor. And that one just gets press fitted in there. It's bigger, bulkier, and I didn't need an extra bracket here for this, so I just kind of press fit it in, and it has a nice snug fit. But folks, if you've worked with these air sensors, you might notice, like, hey, that looks a little different. Where's the blue color? The blue color of the sensor is just like a protective sheet. As I was playing and figuring out tolerances, like, I ripped those right off. So I ripped them all off, so it's fine, I think. Yeah. Folks who play with them, they probably know what I'm talking about. Brent, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, I just ripped off the blue sleeve. It doesn't matter, scratch it up, it's all good. So to connect this, there's an extra connector that it comes with, the PMS 5003, that has an extra little breakout thing. I managed to like stick it onto the bottom of the PCB mount. That made it really nice. I'm happy how that came out. So if you look here, let me make a big shot of it so y'all can see it. So there's this little adapter board that comes with the air quality sensor, the PMS 5003. And here you only have 4 wire connections, and then a whole slew of connectors come out here, and this cable comes with it as well, and then it connects into this slot. It's keyed, so you can't put it in wrong, so that's nice. But yeah, I ended up using those glue dash sheets, those little glue sheets, those little sheets of adhesive that came with AdaVox 16. Like, I used that to secure this PCB to the bottom of the PCB mount. I thought that was clever because it keeps it contained or something, so that looks nice.
Keeps the part slow, so you don't have to make another bracket for it.
Yeah, and there's no mounting holes on that thing, so what are you gonna do? So that's cool. And then once that's all put together, you can kind of shove it into the case. There's just 2 tabs on the sides and inside the case, and just line that up with your PCB mount. And you want to orient it so that the USB connector has a clearance for this thing. So one of the last things you do before like setting it in place is to grab the USB connector and plug it into the feather. It's kind of tight spacing in there, so you want to make sure you have that connected. Because if you look at these 2 photos, it's kind of out of place here. Like, this photo I took after I figured out, oh, I need to actually plug in USB first. So that's why the connector's missing there. Yep. All right, and then once that gets in there, that's secure. The PCB mount is secured to the tabs on the inside. And remember, those tabs on the inside of the case have those brass heat inserts, so you get a nice, solid, secure fit. So that's cool. And then the bottom can get fitted in after that. Whichever sensor, you just kind of orient it right, however you want. And there you go. Turn it on. I'm using these thumb screws at the bottom. And then the top is a screw top, so you can play with that. So let me look at it now. So the top here can come out. Just screw it up a little bit. Screw it out. So that's there. There's our lovely sensor. You can still access the feather. You can unplug that if you want. So that's cool. I don't even have the USB connector in there, so I'd have to kind of snake this out. There's plenty of room in there, so you can just snake that out. There's my DIY little connector. I love these things. They're like the smallest connector you can make yourself. So you just solder that up, and then you connect it like that. And then you can pull this out a little bit, make it more taut. And then you can snap it on there and plug it into the wall. There you go. And then for the bottom, we got these thumb screws, so it makes it easy to take them out. So you can take that out. It's super okay to keep doing this over and over and over again because we got those brass inserts there. So this just pops out, super easy and clean. There's our extra bracket that we were talking about. You got 2 screws there on the side to keep it in place so it doesn't come out. Because it's oriented that way, you really need to have it oriented this way. So I was like, oh no, can I use that stemma connector? You totally can. There's another stemma connector there that's inaccessible because of the way it's oriented. But hey, that's why Lamar puts 2 of them, because she thinks about things. And there's the BME 680, the hot new stemma board. And then this is like kind of the out. This one connects directly into the thing. You can see here I still have the other air quality sensor, the PMS 5003. That little adapter board still there, just in case if I ever need to kind of switch between them. But the code and the library handles both of them, so just change that if you need to in the comment. Ribbon cables for everything, just about. This is a silicone ribbon cable. Love those. My favorite to work with. And then of course the stemma cable is its own thing, and it already comes in this. I didn't have to resolder that or anything, so that's great. Cool. So this goes in like that. And then line up those holes. There's not too much of slop there, but pretty simple assembly, I think, or I hope. Yeah, and it looks like a cute house. Yeah, for sure. If folks want to design a different thing, we have components. We have 3D models of all these components, so folks can have at them.
Yep, I posted links to the fritzing objects as well as the CAD that are on our GitHub.
The roof is something interesting. Originally, I didn't have it as a house. I just had it as a basic cylinder. And with that, I thought I'd cut out a piece of acrylic and open this top here. So these are like the exact same threads, but like look how different they are, right? Exact same threads. This is a little piece of acrylic that I milled on the Bantam tools. So I got that. I also printed a NinjaFlex gasket, like an O-ring, so that fits in there just to give it that extra seal. So now, like, if you want to put that on there, it's super easy, and you can see the electronics in there. So if you had like a light in there or something when you turn it on, you can have a nice cool effect. So it doesn't have to be a house. You can, I guess, remove all the house bits if you want to, or keep it like this.
I look at it as an indicator to see if there's any moisture getting in there.
Oh yeah,
if there's
for sure.
Deforming.
That's a good idea. Yeah, give it a nice tight fit. And there you go. The NinjaFlex gets a nice, seal there. Could probably do one down here too, but I haven't done that yet. And then this right here, I guess you could add some hot glue if you're really paranoid about moisture getting in. You can hot glue that as well. And then everything is pretty much closed. So you got to have these exposed though, because where's it going to get the air from? Mm-hmm. So that's one of the challenges there. Be cool if you could open this door and then let little elves inside. That'd be great.
Nice little project to even have your kid paint or something as a nice little extra art project. Finishing up.
Yeah, for sure. I think this took like 3 or 4 hours to print. Maybe 5. I don't remember.
It looks like a 5-hour print.
Yeah, it's probably like 5 hours or so. But look at the overhang. It looks great.
Pretty
Not too bad.
Cool. We have some people asking what 3D printer do you prefer for making the enclosures?
Whatever you got.
We use them all. Cruelties, Ultimakers, Flash Forges, Prusa.
This is literally a Frankenstein. Like this was printed on the Inventor. This was printed on the Ultimaker. This was printed on, I don't know, something else. So.
And even different models of it, like a Ultimaker 3, an Ultimaker 5.
Yeah.
The Flash Forge Inventor,
the
CR10 V2, and the CR10 S Pro.
Cool.
And then Mr. Certainly Bruce is saying that he's interested in how the glue sheets will fare if exposed to temperature and humidity differentials.
Yeah, for sure, we'll see. It's a little gummy, as Lamar was saying. When I yeah, it's a little gummy. So
it maintains its stickiness.
It does, yeah.
Like I ripped off one of the black LED acrylic.
That's right.
And was able to put another sheet on, and it still was able to hold on.
I put it in the garage, and like it touched a plastic bag, and now it doesn't work because guess what happened to the plastic bag? It's like permanently bonded to it, so it's like okay. So be careful with those glue sheets, yeah. If you need to fully remove them, I think alcohol is a good way to get rid of the residue. Mm-hmm. So you could always do that. But that's the air quality sensor project. Thanks, folks, for checking it out on the YouTubes. It's performing well, which is surprising to me. But hey, there you go. Got the Learn Guide. Shout out to Brent and the whole IO team for making this possible. Our whole goal was to make a better version of the Purple Air sensor, which is like $200. An open source one. So I heavily reference the design of their purple air sensor. It's just like it's just like a pipe that's on the side of your house. So hopefully I had some fun here and made it look nice.
That be a lesson. You close source something, we're gonna
make it better.
We're gonna make it
make
open source and make it better.
That's funny. We're like Robin Hoods. Anyway.
And then Mark Gambler is saying that he had some luck coding his electronics for outside in Chorus Onyx. He's aiming those uses for boats and ships, but he's seen them demoed from RC planes.
Yeah,
so I've might get wet.
Yeah, we one of our first cases here that's kind of semi-wet weatherproof, so that's nice to note too. I never worked with cable glands before, so there's a nice and Brent's project. You can make this full project without any 3D printing. We gotta remind folks about that.
A box that we have in the shop that is pretty water resistant or waterproof.
Let's just type in IOT
has like
Air.
the seals and all that in there.
Yeah.
Then George is interested in the temperature operation range for the sensors. It's getting pretty chilly in Canada, he says.
That's a good thing to look out for. Yeah, there's a data sheet we can look at, and maybe it's in the product page. But yeah, this enclosure here is a weatherproof enclosure, so if folks want to check that out. We do have some enclosures ready to go. You can fit a Pi or a Metro, definitely a Feather fits in there.
Yep, he has one in there with a doubler, I believe.
Yeah, he's got a doubler in there. So shout out to Brent for like getting that together with like just off-the-shelf parts. And awesome, excellent. Yeah, we're mirroring the same code pages from these two guides. So if you want to go 3D printing or go with like an injection molded case, go for it. Check them out. And yeah. And your Adafruit IO is free for like a couple limited dashboards, but you can play with it. Yeah, there's enough to play with for a while, so. Cool, there you go. There's the air quality sensor projects.
Yay.
All right.
Everybody was liking that one. Thank you, guys.
Sweet. Can't wait
fun to work on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to put it back out in the house because we got this hurricane coming, and like I'd love to see how it fares.
So we had to make sure everything was out of the
way. We
had
a controlled fire. We forgot to mention we had a controlled fire, and I do see a spike at certain times in our data when this happened. So it's super cool.
We're able to plan when to walk.
You could definitely set alerts so you can get SMSs or something or an email when it goes a certain value. So that could be really helpful too.
Super cool. All right. And that is last week's project. Let's go ahead and jump into this week's project as we catch up here. This week's project is an awesome case for the BrainCraft HAT. We are using the object recognition test from TensorFlow on this one. So Phil and Lamar showcased this a couple months ago. We wanted to make a nice enclosed little enclosure that has everything contained inside of it, and even made it a little bit portable so you can walk around your house and test out some object recognition with TensorFlow. So we jump over to the overhead. You can see what it looks like. It's this nice little guy here. The BrainCraft HAT has this super awesome, nice little screen here, so you can actually see the console on there. It paired with one of these little keyboards that we have in the shop, and you're able to run commands on there. And if we get focused on there, you can see the rest of the build. We have the updated Raspberry Pi high-quality camera. Works with both.
Works with both, yeah.
I'm talking about the case, though.
Right.
The project that we did a couple weeks ago was for the Raspberry Pi high-quality camera. Took that, modified it so we could attach not only the high-quality camera that you have right there, it'll also work with the regular little camera. I think it'll work with the spy cam as well. Just got to update the mounts. Looks a little bit different than it did in the video because Noah updated this to use the acrylic front face there.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
You can easily 3D print that as well, though. And we just have this hooked up through USB through a little battery bank. So the BrainCraft HAT has a ton of features on there, like stereo out. You have your joystick, you have dot star NeoPixels on there for like voice recognition. And of course,
it has two microphones, a left and a right microphone, a left and a right speaker port,
stemma
speaker, stemma sensor, a sense port, so it's the bigger stemma, and a physical on-off switch for all audio, so you can turn off all of audio with this little switch. We broke that out here. You got your 5-way joystick, an extra button as well, and the dot stars is there as well there. All the ports are accessible, so that's really nice. You have your option, like Pedro said, you can use whichever Pi camera you want. Pi camera V2 is the non-HQ quality camera, and this is the HQ quality camera. A little bit heavier. This has a built-in tripod screw. This one does not, so what did we do? We created our own tripod adapter. It's mounted there with some M25 standoffs. We stock these tripod screw inserts because we always use them. Oh, and there's a tripod right there. So Pedro just launched it. He ran a couple scripts in terminal. He's SSH'd into the Pi right now. So it's on our network, and you can run this without the Wi-Fi, right? It's all doing it on board.
So we walked down the street where I'm sure the Wi-Fi cannot reach, and it was identifying objects.
And that's the whole point. This is like local kind of local whatever. So you see the camera feed. You can see the camera feed. It tells you with audio what it thinks it sees. It updates the. There's some text on screen as well that gets displayed.
And you can see on the terminal too all of the objects that it thinks it's seeing. So it's a nice little way to run your projects portably. And it's pretty good at recognizing a bunch of objects, although of course it's always funny when it gets it wrong.
Yeah, I thought our hot tub was a toilet seat, because I can see how that looks like a toilet seat.
Yeah. So some people were asking what the tripod that we're using here. I posted the link to the Amazon.
Yeah, I made sure to link in Amazon. If you go to the Learn Guide, I have them here too. Down here is the mini tripod stand and the mini ball head. I'd love to stock these, but we are ramping up other things. But yeah, this is a really small tripod stand, and this is the mini ball head that can support like a pound or two. Oh, look, it has a DSLR on there. It's kind of heavy. So yeah, these are my favorite little go-to things, tripod things for these projects particularly.
So funny. Tripod. Keep seeing the tripod. Yeah. Well, I think one of the coolest things was it was able to identify different dog breeds. So since we have like a mixed...
Where's our dog? There he is. Yeah, we have a mini Saluki. He's over there. He joins us every week. And
you can't see him, but you'll probably hear
Oh, you'll see him.
Right there he is, Saluki.
Saluki.
Since he is a mix, it sees all the different breeds of what it thinks it is. Oh, you were showing him, right?
I was, yes.
Yeah. There he is. What do you think he is? What are you, Rufio?
Aw, the pupper's like, come on, guys.
Saluki.
This wasn't a part of the deal. He's a Saluki.
I need to get paid extra.
Shout out to the Starbucks barista who told us, is that a Saluki? And we're like, what? We thought he was a Chihuahua or something.
Yeah, we got some DNA tests on him, and it was all wrong.
Yeah, it said he was a Chihuahua. But in any manner, this thing knows he's a Saluki, so that's great.
So this is super awesome to have a tiny little Raspberry Pi camera. You can walk around with object recognition on there.
Yeah.
Running TensorFlow. So let's go ahead and look at the guide. You can kind of hear the fan going on there.
Yeah, so we put together a 3D model of the BrainCraft HAT, and you can see here all the components are on there. It comes with that fan. It's a little 5-volt fan. Plugs into the port on the side there. Lots of components on board, lots of breakouts. You still have all the pinouts for your breakouts, so you can expand on this. But yeah, same mounting holes as the Pi. Fits right on top. Good time. You can check out the 3D model, and it's linked in the Learn Guide for the BrainCraft HAT. And then we'll go ahead and switch over to the Learn Guide and walk through it a little bit.
Start posting links for all this.
Yep. So it looks like we have the Pi 4 in stock right now. Particularly, this is for the Pi 4. It's not going to work on the 3, right?
No.
Underpowered.
No. And just yesterday, we had some 8 gigabyte Raspberry Pi 4.
There it is.
These in stock.
Oh wait, that's the camera. Yeah.
Definitely pick that up.
Yeah, maybe I should link to that too. We're linking to the 2 gig model, which is like the $35 version. All right. But yeah, we stock both cameras. You can get the V2 camera right now, but it looks like we're out of stock for the high quality camera. A lot of folks picked that one up, so maybe they got it. Yep. So those are mainly all the parts you need. There's some extra things I guess you could get if you want to get like the tripod screw and stuff. You can do that. Oh man, I need to add the tripod screw. I forgot to add it. We just type in tripod in the Adafruit shop. You can see all the tripod stuff we do stock. So there's that screw that I really like. it's a 3/8 to 1/4 20. So those are nice. Those are nice too. And back over here. All right, so there's some parts. Cool. Let's look at 3D printing. Just a couple of things. Here's what the PCB mount looks like if you 3D print it. Interesting thing about 3D printing versus CNC milling, particularly this design, like if you look at the PCB mount, it pretty much looks like this, right? It's just like this super skinny thing, and it's designed for 3D printing because you don't want to print a whole faceplate because then you're spending more time printing it. With the acrylic, you want to leave as most material as you can. So in this case, that's why this entire faceplate is filled in and not cut out, because then I'd be wasting all this time cutting out all this stuff. And it looks beautiful. The acrylic just looks beautiful, like just
Gas mask.
gas mask. That's a hat. Funny. That's funny. But no, it really is a gas mask. So that was a fun thing to kind of to think about CNC and 3D printing for this one particular part. And it works with the case. So the frame that snap fits into the back frame and the cover all snap fit, and then the front you get this nice thing. And if you use like a different color acrylic, you can get a different look. So this is that passion pink acrylic that is nice and frosted. So playing around with different pieces of acrylic is always fun. And there you go. So if folks want to download the STLs and 3D print that, you can. And then you could also download the source files. Huge shout out to the GrabCAD community. I was able to find the 3D models of the Pi and the Pi cameras on GrabCAD. So I linked to those files if folks want to reuse them. And of course, I also linked to the BrainCraft HAT, which you can download from GitHub or the Learn Guide. Since I did end up milling out the front PCB mount, like the faceplate, I have an SVG file so folks can laser cut it, Cree cut it, CNC mill it.
Print it out 2D and trace it on a cardboard.
Yeah, and cut it out with like wood or something. As long as it's like around 3 millimeters, it should work out with everything, like the standoffs and stuff. So that's cool. But I expect folks to 3D print it. And here's an image of what you just saw, like with the acrylic. And then, because it was funny, like I did this yesterday as like an extra credit thing.
That always happens.
That always happens, yeah. Originally it was just going to be like this.
Once we're in production mode, we can't really change anything since everything's being filmed and documented.
Yeah. But here's, I mean, it looks cool, right? Like the PCB mount. Mm-hmm. But boy, does it look amazing with acrylic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's that. And it's a really short guide. It's not going to walk through the software because that's like a standalone guide.
Yeah, so there's two guides that you're going to need to check out for prerequisites. It's setting up the Raspberry Pi, and then one for running the TensorFlow object recognition test.
Shout out for Melissa for putting this together. It's a great one.
Very handy. I'm not a coder. I don't read code like good at all. And I was able to follow this and set this whole thing up. Raspberry Pi, can do a little,
yeah,
can be a pain in the butt to
it starts you from the beginning,
and get all the commands correct and get all the Blinka libraries correct. I did fail, I think, twice getting it in, but I just reran the scripts, and it was able to work. It only took me like 2 tries to get it to work. And if I could do it, the designer video guy, you should be able to set this up. It is such a pleasure to have it running, and just the possibilities of some of the things you could do. You can like run Octopi on there, have like some sort of object recognition. If it sees like your print is failing, maybe tell the printer to stop or pause.
Would be great.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So with little code snippets and the screenshots, you could definitely put this together, copy and paste into your terminal. And how did you set it up? Did you have an external monitor?
So yeah, I had both. I had an external monitor just to make sure that all of the processes were happening, or that the Pi is even on, because all the only indications you get is like LEDs flashing. Right. So I just grabbed off the shelf a couple years ago. You made this really cool portable. It's a 5-inch monitor.
I think so, 5 or 7.
It has a power boost, 1000C inside here with a battery, so it is all portable.
Keep your camera there you go. You have to give it a second. So yeah, this has a built-in battery and a power boost. HDMI out, micro USB-C for recharging. Very slim too.
Yeah, super slim.
I mean, you can get an HDMI monitor cheap these days. I think this is like $150 or maybe $100.
I'm gonna say the prices has to have dropped on these. We have the DIY HDMI cables and connectors that we have in the shop as well, super handy. And then we just have an adapter for the micro or nano HDMI connectors that the Raspberry Pis use.
Micro HDMI or something.
Yeah.
Or mini HDMI, they're different. Yeah, micro and mini are both different.
I think it's micro. I think it's
so.
micro then.
Yeah, micro is smaller than mini.
Mm-hmm. So this is I think it's a 90 degree.
Okay.
Specifically, so when we were doing the, what was it? The Raspberry Pi camera one, we could have a nice little viewfinder, which we're not going to need now with this tiny little monitor on there.
Right. But to set up the screen and everything, you kind of need an external screen and keyboard.
Yeah,
this keyboard we stock, right? This is a wireless keyboard that we stock. Folks probably know this one, the RII, right?
Yeah, I was using that really cool orange Cano one.
Right.
But there's no function keys on it.
Oh, really? You couldn't do function key?
What you're going to need to do to set up the ALSA mixer to get the
and it has a built-in mouse right here, the touch mouse, and one dongle here. So that's nice. It's built-in Wi-Fi on your Pi 4, so no need for a Wi-Fi dongle. Welcome to 20 whatever.
I feel like we need to
2010.
have this all nice and so you can actually see it.
Yeah, sure.
There we go.
Cool.
Keep pointing and talking about stuff and you can't see it. So we have this.
Why is this honking speaker here?
Yeah, so we tried the littler speakers, the ones that are in the stem.
Yeah, the mini oval
speaker. Yeah, the mini oval ones. And I attached. There's a left and right speaker. I attached to both, and it was still too low. So one of these guys down with the gain at like 60% is pretty loud. So definitely recommend that one. Yeah. And then just the placement. The reason why it's there is just not to obstruct any of that or any of this backside. Yeah, I know. It probably makes more sense to have this like facing the screen because you are there looking at it. It's loud enough to hear though. Yeah. It's a form over function on this one. Yeah. It kind of looks nice up there. Right. And this code and everything works with the HQ camera, right? Yeah. Yeah. That's actually what I tested it on first. Right. There's no need to modify code? No. It just recognizes. The only thing that I didn't like about it is that you have to manually set your f-stop and your focus on that, which would be a little bit tricky with the official Pi
Well, I mean,
lenses.
you just see it and you just do this, right?
Yeah, but then like the exposure changes and you gotta mess with the f-stop. Even though it has its own like ISO, it auto does the ISO, so it'll try to
if folks
adjust the screen.
Want to get this started and don't want to futz around with the ISO and stuff, go with the. This would be good if you're like, I don't know, if you're doing like beautiful time lapse. If you need the high quality rows or something like that. You need more pixels. Well, you know where to go. Like if remember somebody came on the show and was doing like really cool time lapses of plants. That's what I would definitely use that for there.
Notebook.
Not a notebook.
Crossword puzzle.
Crossword puzzle. Laptop.
I think the funniest one is with
my hat.
The sweet hat.
What's wrong with my
you
hat?
got for your birthday.
Yeah, thanks, Liz.
And you put it on.
Hat,
what does
actually.
it think it is?
No shade.
What is this thing? Let's see if it does it again.
Ski mask.
Ski mask, huh?
Pickle hound.
What? Pickle hound?
Well, it said cowboy hat last time.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Space cowboy.
Pickle hound.
Now it doesn't know. Snail?
I'm a snail.
All right, enough fun with that. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the Learn Guide to build your own, because it's just so much fun to be able to have the object being guessed wrong.
Yeah, toilet seat. I love it. All right, so check those out. I hope you all check it out. The BrainCraft is in stock right now, surprisingly.
Yay!
Hooray! Here it is. Come on.
Since it's mostly just assembly, we can sort of
There we go.
skip that one and let people check that out on their own. Since we got like 8 minutes left, let's go ahead and jump into this week's Community Makes.
Yeah,
really quick.
This week we got a design from someone named Pedro Ruiz.
No, first I'm going to cover the one that we missed. I think it was I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Sorry, I don't have the video.
Cube. It's fine. It's great way. Did I show this off already? So it's a great way to test your tolerances on your printer.
Yeah, for sure. I love
It's a
this
great
thing.
little puzzle game.
It's a great fidget cube.
Yeah.
a fidget cube.
Toshina something. Space Cowboy.
Cool, and you printed it with like some color changing.
Yeah,
filament.
this is the rainbow filament, and again, yeah, this is really good to check your tolerances on your printer. I didn't have to do any adjustments
That's
on that.
great,
No
man.
horizontal compensation.
Infinitely
cool.
folding.
Yeah, infinitely
For
folding.
Abba.
Super cool. Next thing is, because the release of all the iPhones, we actually used the 12 Pro on all of the outdoor shots for the air
Yeah, for
quality
sure. sensor
sensor and for this guy. The codec they're using now, is it Adobe?
Codec?
Adobe, whatever the 10-bit
HEIC.
HDI or HDR, it freaking looks phenomenal. When I went in there and did some color correction on there, the sky was blown out. I turned down the highlights on it, and oh my God, there was data. I could see clouds. Holy crap. So, of course, we got to print out our own custom cases for that. One of the goals, because of the design change on this, was I wanted to make sure that the iPhone could stand up again, like the iPhone with the 4s and the 5s, and they had the nice flat round, or the nice flat edges, so you could just stand it up. I'm going to say effortlessly, but this, I think this table's at an angle.
Yeah.
So to remedy that, we have some cases that'll do a lot more better job on that.
There you go.
Push some of this stuff back.
Yeah, I can put this over here.
And what I like is that it works on all angles too. So both sides, the tops, and if your table is nice and level, it even works on the bottom here.
Sweet.
But yeah, that's one of my goals for that. And this is for the 12 Pro. I did get a Max as well, just because of the the sensor shift that they have on that camera. It's definitely going to be handy for walking around shots. I think this is the best way to visualize the differences in the devices.
Oh yeah, look at that. It fits right within there, huh? And get the mini in there. Can you just a little bit of a...
So yeah, I got my mom the mini, and you can see the differences
some
in
Russian
that.
dolling here.
Yeah. So for sure, it will work with the 12 and 12 Pro. What I have to go back and update because they don't get here till like Friday, the Mini and the Max. I'm sure. I mean, the buttons and all that. I'm sure that's not correct. I just had the sketch dimensions the same as how this is the dimensions for where the walls are for that. So I'll probably have to change that on both of these. So I will update these on Saturday. But as we have now, these are what the Apple developer site shows as the technical specifications for the dimensions of the phones. And it's what a lot of the case manufacturers use. So I'm just going with that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we looked at it last week, remember? I had the PDF open.
Oh, yeah,
We were
that's
looking
right.
at the MagSafe connector. Yeah, I'm using it on my phone, so it works out pretty well. It's nice and still thin. The grip is all right. I mean, you get these ridges here. We'll see how long it lasts, yeah. Drop it or whatever, but cool, good work. It's on Thingiverse, probably be on some other sites soon.
Yeah, Prusa and
okay.
I think
Bulletproof vest.
Bulletproof vest. So folks can download that. We'll throw up the source files too.
So there's two different styles of these. So we have the PLA model, which
hard plastic.
of course was the whole goal was to have it to be able to stand up, and then we have the Ninja Flex one as well, which will not stand up, just because of the nature of Ninja Flex. And
floppy.
yeah, this is the TPE, the 85A.
TPU?
TPE?
U?
TPU is like the harder 95A.
Oh.
So this is the elastic stuff.
Okay.
So you do need a direct drive for that. And
Which printer did you print it on?
this one was on the FlashForge Inventor.
Did you need any supports for the
I
overhang?
did, yeah. So I added supports on there, and they came out
What?
pretty good.
Did y'all know you can use supports with Ninja Flex?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
And one of the things I
Cut
had
it
to add,
off. It fuses.
one of the things I had to add was the top there, just so it has a grip on. the
without that,
edges.
yeah, you're
It does
right.
not work without these guys.
And there's no rigidity.
Yeah, it just flops right off.
Oh, that's funny.
Now there is a version too that has the MagSafe like circle on there.
Yeah.
I think I showed it off 2 weeks ago. I did have to dual extrude that with the magnetic iron that we have in the shop, and it just wasn't worth it. It's a lot easier to just have these lips on there to grab it. The
fun
metal actually makes it a little
test.
bit more heavier.
Yeah, it's actually heavier because there's medical particles in it. So, yeah. All right, cool. Lots of phone cases, all around. If y'all got one, you can try out the case if you want.
Or just print them out and play Russian doll.
Yes. All right, cool. I do have a video of that, and I should have played it while we were talking. Yeah, so support's on the NinjaFlex one.
Yeah, so I wanted to release this since it used to be an iOS world, and a lot of developers always like 3D printing what the devices will look like, but they end up printing like, a block, just a rectangular block, and I think it's a lot more useful to print an actual case that you might be able to use on your phone once you
need
get
it.
Yeah, instead of wasting
needed
a whole block. And because the developers are probably printing it at 100%. Definitely a nice. Oh, and totally forgot, all Fusion 360. So there is a timeline with these. I have all these sketch dimensions on there, so you can actually adjust all of the sizes for this. So if you want to make it a little bit more tighter, looser, depending on your tolerances, or you just want to change things around, you can just go into the sketches, update the sizes, and everything should fit in that size with it.
Excellent.
Or at least the link for that as well.
All right. Cool, we made it to the show. We filled it up. I thought we were going to go in overtime, but we got another thing we'll talk about next week. Just a little ad. All right, so tonight we hope to see you folks. We invite you to join the show and tell every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can hang out in the Discord chat room, the live broadcast chat room, when PT will post a link to the StreamYard so folks can join in. So, yeah, please be a little bit early, like 7:25-ish is when we'll drop that. And then it runs for half an hour, and then at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Lamar and Phil we'll do a live show as well for an hour or so long. Circuit Python on hardware, new products, top secret stuff, and you get to ask an engineer at the end of the show. That's how we do it. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget, the full lineup of shows starts with Lady 8 on Sundays at around 9 p.m. Lamar does Where in the World Is That Part I Need?
From DigiKey.
You can find it on DigiKey. So the great search from DigiKey.
There's actually a couple of segments. It's what she's working on, what she's prototyping, and the great search. So definitely subscribe so you can see when those are released.
This week was right-angled buttons, which was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
She talks about why she needed to make the solder pads bigger.
Yep.
And then JP's on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time, PT time. Product pick of the week. Yes. So you can get a live stream on huge discounts.
Yeah.
Mega major discounts.
Military uniform.
I mean, it's just black, man. Like.
But definitely check out
you are a
JP's
criminal.
product pick of the week.
Gas mask, bulletproof vest. Like, what are we doing here? We're getting ready for a hurricane. Every Wednesday at what time? 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We do the show.
Yep.
Unless someone's giving birth.
Unless there's a baby, there's a birthday, there's
baby
house
birth
being worked on. What else?
Bulletproof vest.
Something's just because we're just celebrating. We're like, we're done for the week.
Yeah. I did that one already. And then JP does another show on Thursdays at 4 p.m. JP's Workshop.
Yes.
Definitely
So
check him out.
And tomorrow I think he's going to be working on the brand new mag tag.
I'm looking
I can't
forward to
wait
getting
get
that
ours.
today.
So freaking cool.
Yeah. Deep Dive with Scott's every Friday at 2 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Get an insight. He was doing live coding on the Magpie firmware.
MagTag. And right during his show is when a bunch came in stock, so you definitely want to make sure you're watching that.
That's great.
So you'll, nice little backup plan to the notify me.
Yep.
Since sometimes it could be a little bit late, or you can just leave the tab open for the new product page and just refresh like a madman until they are back.
Yes. So there you go. I can't show that too long because like our connection dies every time I show it.
I think it's because it's, what did you said it was 8K?
No. That's why. Whatever. There's a quick look at it before we get cut. And there we go. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Hope to see you on the show and tell tonight and throughout the week.
Don't forget to follow us on all of the socials where we post all the behind the scenes.
Sure.
And don't forget to
make a great day. Bye, folks. See you tonight. Bye.